can jump in.
We're having too much fun talking about football tonight.
Yes, yes. Now that we're recording, we need to focus.
Yeah.
Well, November 10th, 2021, we'll have our mastermind meeting here. We got a couple of things on the agenda. And gosh, it seems like 2021 just flew by, and already not only are our offices saying, hey, use your insurance before you lose it type stuff, but they're already scheduled way past. There's no time left, so I've even got some office saying, I don't want to send out that notice because we got nowhere to put anybody. I don't know if you guys are having the same issues.
What's going on with you guys?
We busy. It's getting up a little bit in the office.
Breaking up.
Older office.
Oh yeah, I can
But
hear.
that, oh,
Yeah.
can you hear me?
I can hear you, Dave. Yeah.
So it's lightening up a little bit in the new office, but we're still booked well over a month in advance, and there's a little bit left this year, but not much.
Yeah.
Are you talking about booking with hygiene or your book?
Either one. Yeah.
Both. Yeah.
That's cool.
Hygiene, we could certainly use another hygienist, but that's not easy these days.
Yeah. Finding employees, especially hygienists, because they're so specific. Where do you are you in live looking for a hygienist right now?
We've got just one ad out, but
Yeah.
it really just is nothing. So I haven't been working that hard at it.
Well, miracles happen. One of your colleagues, whom you know, with the initials TM, had a hygienist walk in with their resume last week, and he texted me they're hired her today. So
Oh, that's good.
miracles
That's
do happen.
Can you give me her name? I don't really care about the TM name. Her name.
You want to go get her, right? And say, look, we got a better deal over here.
Yeah. All scare and hygiene and war.
There you go. There you go.
David, do you have a hygiene school close to you? Anything?
There's 2 schools in Maine, and we checked into the schools, but there was no one coming to our area.
Uh-huh.
The problem in Maine is, I guess it's a problem or a challenge, is hygienists can own their own practice there. And a lot of them have chosen to go that route instead of work in a practice. Is that right? Is that what you're seeing, Dave, in your town?
Not in our town. We're not seeing a lot of that, interestingly. I actually wish that we would, because that would work actually really well for us, because we have more hygiene than we can really handle.
Yeah.
And that takes away from our production. I think our production would be better if the hygienists were in another place and only came to us when they had the work they needed to have done.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
there's an interesting perspective. You're the first one that said that. Most of them are threatened by it. So, yeah.
Well, I think too, Dave, you're in a unique situation where you have so many hygiene patients. You have so many hygiene days. Most doctors in the past have been like, I want to get to 2 hygienists per day, solid.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I want to get to 2 also, but in my case is get to 2 from 3 to 4.
yeah, exactly.
There you go. Dr. Bulsara, what's your schedule like?
Schedule super packed, too many patients, lots of work to do. Laura came up with an idea today that I think I'm just gonna book out my simple restorative to like 2 months out. Like if in my mind, if it can wait, I'm gonna push it out. But I'm trying to figure out how to tell the patient that without making it seem like they don't need it done. You know what I mean? Because in my mind, I have like crowns I have big cavities and stuff that are coming that are like they're so hard to do, and I need the time to do them. But I'm rushing through them because there's so many on my schedule, but I don't have any time.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking like somehow I want to, like, if I, because tomorrow we have 3 new patients, 3 comp exams. And if any of these patients need like, really small, like, small, I would say like E1, E2 lesion. I mean, not E1, E2, like barely into the dentin, where I'm saying, we should probably do, let's say they have like 5 or 6. And I say, okay, we're going to choose 2 and do them. and that way I can tell whether they're, if whether or not we need to do the rest. I might just start booking those out a little bit further instead of just like, because I've been doing so much of these restoratives that I thought that was maybe something I could do to free up some time on my schedule for some of the bigger cases that I want to do, that I need to do. So that was a thought I had. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah. When you do ideal day scheduling, there should be what's called a healthy ratio. So 5 hours of morning high productive time and 3 hours of afternoon low non-productive time. So rock and then sand and water. And your healthy ratio is for every 2 weeks it takes to get in for a rock time, it might be 4 weeks to 6 weeks to get in for the afternoon, because there's more of those procedures available and less time to schedule them in. So it might be these days, it might be like 3 weeks to get in for a crown rock appointment, and then it'll be 6 to 8 weeks to get in for the afternoon stuff, the single tooth, the lesser of production things. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think we're gonna have to employ that, because it's really like what happens is like we'll have a patient come in who, we've had these schedules, the schedule works out really good, and the patient needs, it's one of the urgent things, like, man, this, this tooth needs to be done. They're in pain and etc. So finding time to work them in. And I think, Dr. Watson is going to be retiring, and, really start, but this is really his last like year of coming in every week and seeing patients. I think started next year, he'll be doing just selective cases, maybe sedation, maybe, he in and out here and there. So that's going to open up a whole new column for me, that I can really do my ideal scheduling, because I like running at least 2 columns and then having a third one where I can see. And then I like even having a 4th one for really walking stuff, So I think that's what I'm looking forward to, doing that and really getting my ideal scheduling down, because it's hard with 2 doctors getting it really figured out.
It all depends on the assistants you have too. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Dave, go for it.
I was just going to ask how many chairs you have for provider.
We have in our office right now, on Monday or on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, I primarily work out of 2 chairs, and Dr. Watson works out of the 1. And those 3 rooms are equipped to do x-rays and basically any procedure. And then I recently opened up a 4th one for just like, quick looks. It doesn't take, we don't have an x-ray, it's just a chair and, my loop light. It does have a handpiece attached if I had to do a occlusal adjustment or something like that. But it's not for like main treatment. So on Thursdays, I work out of all 3 of those rooms, and that 4th one, we don't really use much, but when Dr. Watson's going to slow down those, when he's not coming in Monday and Tuesday, then I'll be booking those 3 rooms for treatment.
And how many hygiene rooms do you have?
We work out of 2 hygiene rooms, 2 hygienists, 2 rooms. That other room that I was talking about, which only has a chair basically, and maybe one hand piece, like, it has a back delivery unit. That's really meant to be a hygiene room.
Is that one of the 2 hygiene rooms, or would that be a 3rd hygiene room?
That would be the 3rd hygiene room. Yeah. That's kind of just like an auxiliary room.
And is that room big enough to turn into a doctor's operatory?
It is. Yeah, it is. It has a plugged off unit for, delivery system for a doctor, but it's plugged out. I would have to invest to get it functioning.
Yeah.
So it sounds to me like that investment might be worth it if you need that extra room, because even when
Yes, it is
not there, that would give you room to have another provider come in, or?
Yes, I
Yeah.
think that down the line, that's going to be the goal, is getting that room souped up so that if another provider comes in, that I'm not having to share my space with them per se. They can have two rooms, like one as well. That would really help things out. And I think because we've ramped this practice up so much, when Dr. Watson leaves, it's going to be a big, rearranging and structuring to make sure our patients don't get pushed out super far.
And that's one of the things, Dave, Ted, y'all probably have done this, Dr. Allgood. In December every year, my doctor would not allow me to schedule any fillings.
Yeah.
No fillings in December. And we had fillings booked out as far as like 6 months, even coming back at their next hygiene appointment. So it goes back to the verbal skill. Eric, what do you say to a patient that we've diagnosed a filling, but yet we're not going to try to get them back in the next month? How would you transfer that to the front?
Yeah, this person is not that important, so we're going to put them out. No. It's always important to come from the doctor first. Mrs. Jones, I am concerned about these. And, as long as we get them done within the next 3 to 4 months, I'm going to be very confident that we're taking care of this issue as need be. Versus if you're talking about a crown, something with a bigger issue, I'm really concerned about this. This is something that if you get taken care of the next month, maybe 2 months, I'll feel confident in getting it taken care of before it turns into a bigger problem. So you, as a doctor, give that bigger range so they don't come up front and going, oh yeah, he said I needed to get in right away, and it's a occlusal on 3.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's a smart way to you almost diagnose the problem and give them a confidence in time frame.
Yeah, you still make it urgent. You still want to make it urgent, but you give them as long as it's done within this time frame. And even with large cases with quadrant dentistry and multiple quadrants, you're saying, you know what, if we're getting all of this taken care of within the next 6 to 8 months, I'm going to be confident that we're going to be able to handle all of these concerns without them turning into bigger problems. But we got to get on the same page. Otherwise, they go out front and they go crown a year club, and they're just one thing at a time because their insurance is dictating it, and you lose control of that commitment. So, yeah.
That's really good. Sometimes we'd send them home with a product like fluoride and saying, use this, and if you're having any symptoms, call us right away, something like that. But I know.
Yeah, we've actually been doing that a lot. We've been selling Floridex like crazy because patients that come in, my hygienist, I've been telling them like, hey, listen, kind of the same way I say, hey, listen, you've got, I'll say 4 or 5 lesions. You really need to use this extra strength fluoride. And, if we reevaluate in 6 months and, these have stayed the same, then, I kind of the same way I feel confident that, we can maintain these. I kind of prepare them for, down the line, seeing that some of the caries can be reversed, and I kind of encourage them to do that, but I'm able to offer some kind of a solution or a product that they go home with, and then they come back and we can reassess.
That's good.
Really, the reason I brought that up, because we were talking about I want to wait till January, and the question is, does your schedule have availability, and are you wanting them to get in before January? And they're going, well, I want to wait till January because of my insurance. Most of the time, offices right now don't have an appointment available between now and January. So, for a patient says, I want to wait till January, sometimes you're going, okay, okay, but you got to give it a timeline. But typically we're not wanting to do that. We're having to we have to assume that every patient's going to say that. We got to instill the urgency on the condition side before they ever get to that comment.
I talked to a doctor this week, and he said, "Yeah, man, I'm booked out 6 weeks." And my next question was, "Are you scheduled to goal every day?"
Mm-hmm.
And he said no. So
Filling stuff in, just throwing stuff in to get it in.
That's the challenge. Is you might be booked, but are you really scheduled to goal? Now I know most of y'all are watching that all the time, right? Do y'all pretty much keep an eye on that? Scheduled to goal?
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a long time since we've missed the goal.
That's good.
Which is a really good thing.
Yeah.
But my back hurts.
Time to raise the goal, Andy said. Yeah.
It is time to raise the goal.
I'm not sure who said it, but probably a really smart man or woman who said busyness is not good for the business. Yeah. Actually, I just invented that, so it was just me.
Smart man.
Are you working the schedule or is it working you?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's just that time of year. We're going to have short months. We're going to have time off. November and December both have holidays. And it's not just about scheduling a goal. It's about looking at what's my monthly goal and how does that change what my daily goal should be these 2 months. It's now also time to start getting out the 12-month calendar for next year and looking at how many days am I working? Where are the vacations? Who's working what? Waiting until, hygiene's already booked that far out. So it should be done by now.
It's something over the last 2 years, listening to these comments and all, it's number one was getting through COVID and make sure we had the hygiene booked and all. Now we're too busy.
Yeah.
Put everybody in. So that's where you've got to, number one, like Eric was saying, verbal skills. Mm-hmm. And number two, the ideal scheduling, schedule to go. And if you're this busy and you're doing proper examinations, you should be making that goal every month.
Yep.
So it's totally different scenario now than what I was hearing a year ago, and which is fantastic. Let's not complain about being too busy. Okay.
That's a good problem to have, right, Andy? The hygiene was open in April because of COVID, open October, open in April, open in October, and we've gotten past that now. For the most part, I think there's still a few practices that still have just not enough hygiene patients. And how do they grow it? And how do they get more patients? And it's hard. It's a tough challenge still for some practices to figure out how to get growth. And for others, it just happens. They don't even try. They get a ton of patients. They don't even know how to, where to put them. Telling new patients it's a 2-month wait to get in, and others that can't get patients coming in. So it's a very, very weird issue that Paula and I see. We go back and forth, depending on who we're talking with and where they live, where their practice is located.
And then we've got concerns over inflation, and is this going to last? Because people are, having more cost and things like that. Are you seeing that in your area, Dave? Are people concerned about inflation?
Yes, I can tell you that I'm concerned about it. And we just did between a 5 and a 7% raise. It's one of the
fee increase.
Fee increase, which is one of the biggest ones we've done in a lot of years. And I'm not limiting myself to doing that once this year.
Yeah.
In the next 12 months, I'm going to be watching it, and because we're having to raise salaries. Where before we would start an inexperienced, totally untrained assistant at $16 now, 15 to 16.
Yep.
And then once they're trained, they're in the 18 to 20. The experienced assistants are 22 to 26. But now you have to start people at 18 to 20.
Yeah, I know. Because they can make that at Walmart.
Yeah. Not with the benefits, not with the same job, but.
Yeah,
But it's true.
On what they want to wear to work.
The question becomes too is, do you want someone who's going to choose McDonald's at 18 versus your practice at 18?
Yeah,
that's true. But
who are you in competition with at that point? I don't want us to get in the frame of mind where we're going, we need to compete to get people and do signing bonuses and rate. You're hearing all this crazy stuff from somebody's dental office. I'm going, what are you doing? You're setting a precedent. It reminds me of when I saw, I have Verizon, and Verizon would put out a commercial saying, if you switch from T-Mobile, we're going to give you 6 months free, cell service. And I'm going, wait a second. I'm with you. I want free cell service. So I'm going to go to T-Mobile and come back. I'll be right back. You know, your existing team member are looking at that going, well, wait a second. I've been here. I've been committed. I've stayed through the pandemic. I worked my butt off and we didn't have enough people. And that's what we're running into. Dave was like, okay, now we got to raise everybody up. And how are we going to pay for that fee increase? And for all the offices that are in network, Paul and I are just seeing, I've never helped more offices resign from insurance in a single year than this year.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good thing.
Because they can't raise their fees.
Yeah. We just had a team sign up with Advantage too. So, you know,
Hey.
yeah, I sent you guys an email.
Yeah, thank you.
She told me today because you know, they're looking at this too. We've got people really concerned, and the existing team member point, Eric, is a really good point. I'm glad you brought that up. I was thinking that. You read my mind. So yeah, they're like asking for raises now, and the doctors were like, well, you're not, you know, at the level where we want to give you a raise. And then they're like, well, I'll just go over here and make $5 more an hour if you and by the way, if you had to hire somebody to replace me, you're gonna have to pay more than what you're paying me. They know this stuff now. So
it reminds me, Dave, when you talk about, even if the insurance company wanted to give you your UCR rate, you still wouldn't sign up with them.
Well, we had that.
Yeah, I remember you talking about that. Remember?
Yeah.
So, share that story again. And why? And more, the point of it is, why did you choose? Well, if they're going to give me my fees, why wouldn't I sign up with them? And what was your point?
Yeah, they were going to pay my entire fee, and I thought about it for a while. There were two reasons I didn't sign up. Number one is, you know, once they get me hooked, and I've got patients now they have control over me, and they could change that. And the second reason is I knew that was something that was going to basically screw my colleagues, because then they would be selling. They would have a ability to sell to more businesses because our office was popular. And then the next guy down the street that applies to, you know, to join that is not going to get their fee schedule paid. So
and it almost feels forced. Yeah. You were thinking about dentistry as a whole, not just your practice by doing that.
A little bit of both.
Yeah. And back to the first point is, I'm getting clients telling me they're getting letters from their Cignas or whatever it is in network saying that they're going to lower the fee. And they're going, can I do that? I thought I had a contract with them. This is the point. They give you a really nice fee year one, and by year 10, they're lowering your fees. There's nothing that says they need to keep up with the going rate, and they're not.
And they promise you a fee schedule. I've seen this too, that you think you're negotiating, and they give you a few codes that you never bill, and they raise that. And then a few months later, when you're not looking, they've lowered that fee again. We've seen that happen. They're pretty sneaky.
Or they slam you into network with another group to justify the fee increase. Oh, yeah. So that you're getting you know, if you're United Concordia and then all of a sudden Guardian, your network with, wait a second, I never signed up for them, but that helps their numbers. Yeah. These are the things that young dentists don't see. I just spoke at a dental school, and it just turned it from case acceptance into insurance stuff. They're like, well, how do you bill an insurance company if you're not in network? I mean, they literally don't know that it's possible. They don't know that it's possible. Like, the insurance company will pay you, and they will pay your UCR. You getting fired up, Ted?
Yeah, I am. I think they teach that in dental school now. You know,
they do. They have no idea how to practice insurance.
They're funded by Delta, so they preach in Delta.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brett saw that. Dave was there teaching it.
Yeah, I was pushing it.
You're a Delta pusher.
It's perfect. You know, they get all these guys on Delta, you know, and then I teach them how to mess up too, so that they get people really ticked off.
And they come to you?
And then they come to me, yeah.
What class were you teaching?
How to succeed in dentistry without really trying.
That's awesome.
Wow. Is that the name of the class? Was that the name of the class, Dave?
Yeah, right.
Hilarious.
I need some pointers, Dave, because I'm going to start teaching part-time after the first of
Good
the
for
year.
you. Excellent. It's fun. It's fun, Andy, and you'll be a good teacher. That'll be excellent.
What are you going to teach, Dr. Allgood?
That's a great question, Paula. I'm going to be working with, Greg Griffin, who I sold my practice to in Lincoln,
Yeah.
is now teaching at the dental school. And so I'm going to be working with him some. Yeah. And it's in restorative and all. And
Full
I don't
circle.
know how long it'll lead, how far it'll lead, or what it'll lead to. It's not going to be a position when I'm going. I have no idea how often I'm going to wind up going in. It's a non-paid position, a volunteer, and it's just whenever I can get in and help. And I just want to go in and sort of see what's going on, sit in on some lectures to see what they're teaching now. It's probably different than 1970 with the GB Black or whatever his name was. So when there was no such thing as bonding or anything, that's it's crazy. So it'll be fun.
Well, once you get your feet wet in there, Andy, you tell them Paul or Eric will come and speak. We'll Zoom in for free for an hour in their practice management course and talk about insurance and what not to do.
I'll do it. That's they need the help, and I've just sort of laid back for a while. And it's you can only go to your farm so many times. You can only go to Canada hunting so many times.
Hunting and fishing so many times. Huh?
Different things. So
you're gonna have to get your own You're gonna have to become your own taxidermist here pretty soon.
Well, I may, except I hadn't killed anything except.
Oh, okay.
I'm doing a little faculty at the ECU clinic as well. I do a clinical though.
Okay.
Is this the
It's
Silva
fun.
in Silva?
Yeah, it's Silva. That's where I did my residency, and it's fun working with the students and the residents. I mean, I was a resident there, so it's nice having somebody from private practice come in and give some feedback. And the biggest thing is that I'm trying to pick off the best resident one day to work for me.
Yeah, relationships. You're building relationships. Absolutely.
Sure.
I have a doctor who does that, and they finally asked him to stop recruiting.
I think we know who we're talking about.
He was taking their assistants, and they were.
Well, that's how you get assistants these days. Is you have an assisting school in your practice. That's the way to do it. Yeah,
that can be done.
Yeah.
There's a guy up the street from my practice. He's got an assistant school.
Yep. And you get to pick who you want. Yeah.
Tuesday nights he's full.
Yeah.
I don't know how or what as far as accredited. I know he's not accredited. Well, he's just doing it.
Yeah.
But
every state's different.
Well, there is a program you can buy to have an assistant school, kind of a weekend thing. I don't know if any of y'all have ever done that, but I had a couple of doctors do it. So
we tried to do that with hygiene schools in Georgia a number of years ago, but it didn't quite fly through the legislature.
They do it in Alabama.
Yeah, they do.
I think that's the only state that they do that.
No way.
It's kind of on the job training.
Really?
And we have a hygienist from there because of it.
You get a temporary license, then you go to classes, and you have to clean so many people a week, I believe it is, or a month, and you turn that in, and then you go to classes maybe on the weekend. I forget how many weekends it is. I think it takes about a year, and then they take a test, and if they don't pass the test, they're reissued a temporary license and can retake the test. So as soon as you sign up for school, you start cleaning teeth.
Mm-hmm. That's that. We tried to model ours after that, but it sort of after the Alabama deal. I mean, this was way back. The early '90s, the late '80s, I guess, and it just didn't quite fly. Not necessarily the legislature, but with the entire House of Delegates for our dental association.
Yeah.
Dave, how'd you get a hygienist because of that?
She was a hygienist in Alabama, and actually, it was kind of indirectly. Another dentist in the area advertised in Alabama for a dentist, for a hygienist wanting to move to Maine
Yeah.
because they're paid so little down there. She was a educated hygienist, so she was qualified to come to Maine. And she wound up working for that person, but that person did not follow through on her promises. And she was disgruntled, and she wound up calling us, and we hired her, and she's fantastic.
Was that the TM initials again? Other practice?
Yeah.
Oh goodness.
That's what I do when I travel south. It's recruit my dentist.
Recruit.
He packs him in his motorhome and
Hey, I was in Silva. I didn't know there was a dental school there. We went.
It's
We went
it's
through
East
there.
Carolina.
Yeah.
East Carolina has they started this program where they have 8 community service learning centers throughout the state. So the dental school is basically spread out throughout the whole state, because the mission of the school is to try to get the students to work in rural areas. So they send students out there, and each one has a residency program. And so, now once we started doing that, a lot of other schools kind of like started wanting to do the same thing. So, because it basically runs like a private practice, those clinics. And it's really interesting because you get to see a lot of patients. That's why I felt like I got a lot of good experience in that. And so, yeah, it's pretty neat.
yeah, good deal.
I heard, Ted, you stumbled into a hygienist, I heard.
Well, one just walked in last week, and
Go figure.
we hired her today. Did a second interview.
What made her leave where she was before?
One reason I know of is distance. She was traveling further than she wanted. There are a few other things. She wasn't totally dissatisfied, but she was, wanting to improve her situation a little bit. So I have yet to meet her myself. I have 3 employees I haven't met. we had a week of we hired 2 untrained people last week, and 1 assistant and 1 front desk, or maybe it's 2 weeks ago. We hired a hygienist today, and today you probably heard already the Maine CDC reversed the vaccination mandate. So the assistant, a very good assistant that we lost, we can get her back now, I hope. I texted her today and said, you can come back now.
So she left before the deadline? The cutoff?
She left the deadline.
The deadline was the 1st.
Was November 1st, and the stupid CDC waits until now and then reverses it after they create all this havoc. I mean, people are overjoyed on one side and then pissed the next second because of how they did this. It's so incompetent.
So do you think, I know you probably, I don't know, maybe if you know this, but does that mean other states that have required mandates in the same sort of situations could be overturned, or?
I don't know if it relates, I think it's state by state, because the mandates are state by state. So I'm sure the reversals, I mean, it wasn't like a Supreme Court thing. They just said, oh, we changed our mind.
Yeah.
Is that a definite, Ted?
Yes.
It's because I went on the CDC site and I couldn't find it.
Well, I just read the email from Malloy, who is the attorney for the Maine Dental Association, and it said, in no uncertain terms, was posted by CDC today, effective immediately. So, I mean, if it's wrong, I don't really have anything at stake except, maybe 1 employee comes back for a day and then I got to turn her around again. But Other than that, we were all set.
Yeah, I lost a really good
Yeah.
15-year team member.
Yeah.
And I'd love to have her back.
Do you think she'd come back if she saw this, Dave?
I think so. It's interesting. This is such a political issue.
Yeah.
In so many ways.
Yes, let's talk politics. This is good, Dave. Yeah.
Let's
actually
all rant.
Sensitive. It's actually more of a team sensitive issue because there are those on the team that are mad at her because she wouldn't get the vaccine.
Yeah.
And so there's damaged relationships there.
Mm-hmm.
And there are others that, almost everybody was really sad to see her go. And I think the team will be very happy to have her back, but I don't think it's 100%. And that's an issue. It's
how politics work. A majority wins. So if a majority are happy, then there you go.
Yeah, it doesn't work that way when you're trying to keep a team going.
I had a team member up there text me this evening, and it's not your practices, and she was considering leaving, and she got it, and she is furious
because she got the vaccine now.
Because she got it.
Oh.
Yeah, I have one. I'm sure is furious. Maybe more than one.
Yeah.
Well, you look at it another way, and in my previous practice, one did not get the vaccination. Her husband did not get the vaccination, and a heavy smoker, different things, and he wound up. We went to the memorial service for him last week.
Yeah.
So it's and she is the only one that did not get the vaccination, and she had COVID, and then he got it, and he wound up passing. So, it's an employment issue. It's a personal issue, and it's it's something that you have to. I think you have to make a decision on your own as far as your own health and all. I got the vaccine. I had COVID a year ago. I got the vaccine so I could go across to Canada Saturday morning to go deer hunting. And plus I've got to have a negative PCR molecular test within 72 hours of going across the border. So that's why I got my vaccination, because I thought I was okay anyway. But
does
I hear that a lot, that people just get it because they want to travel.
Yeah.
Does anybody get their antibodies tested like regularly? I do that, but does anybody else do that?
I got mine tested because my first case of COVID was so mild. I wasn't so sure it was that, even though I'd had a positive. So I went back and had my antibodies tested. And
what was your number?
I have no idea. I just know I have.
Oh yeah, because it'll give you a number, because they'll rate it positive of anything over 0.7. And so like my son was a 7 point something, so he was 10 times. My daughter was 155, over the, and then I was 2,500, which is the ceiling. They won't even show it higher than that. Yeah. And so I was at 2,500.
I do not know. I don't know when I got mine tested if they were giving anybody numbers like that. I may have gotten them, but I didn't pay any attention to them.
But he's in California. They do things different over there.
Yeah.
Weird.
Viruses.
Very weird. Yeah, we haven't seen our governor in a couple weeks. That's booster.
I heard he got, well, we won't have to talk about that.
Yeah. Be interested to see what happens.
You want to talk about Facebook marketing that somebody you know?
So this gentleman reached out to me, and he is a salesman. I tell you what, he is very, like, hey, this works. I think it's expensive. I think it's pricey, but if you're looking for, I'm just guessing here, maybe $1,500 a month budget to market and Facebook marketing, he says it's working, and he's got some clients that are saying it's working. And so, I said, all right, if people are looking for another way to market, then I'll be happy to send them to you. I'm not going to do a blast email and promote him. It's going to be refer someone to him, and then the client and I talk about it afterwards and see what we both think. Because I want to, just like any marketing, it's a gamble. You're spending money hoping that it works. But right now, so many offices, they have so many new patients, they don't know what to do with them. So it's finding the right clients that want more new patients and want the right kind. I think that's the biggest thing. And he's not like sending out this fish net. He's actually just using a big lure and putting it in a tiny cove over by this log, and only if a big fish lands on it are we reeling in. And I like that part of it. So yeah.
So he's doing like targeted ads. Is that what he's doing?
Yeah, on Facebook. So yeah, for those that are watching this later, let me know, email me, and we'll talk about it. So
okay.
Yeah.
Because I know Dr. Bulsara, you
right next to the log, catching the big fish.
Yeah.
got Andy's attention.
That's right. Okeechobee special.
Dr. Bulsara, you were thinking about doing some things with Facebook later, right?
Yeah, we needed to just start getting some more content, So we need our practice to start taking more pictures.
So that's different. So Facebook management, like managing your social media and letting your people in, let them see the windows into the restaurant, right? Versus just this brick building. You don't know what it looks like in there, who's in there, right? You're letting people in. That's different than Facebook paid advertising. And so like I manage probably 30 Facebook accounts. Actually, Ted's one of them, right? And the theme that we always use, and they do their own post every so often about somebody's anniversary, somebody's birthday, patient this, whatever it is. That stuff those are the grand slams that they hit. But we got to keep people on the line. Like you're trolling all the time. If you don't have a consistent post every day, you disappear. Facebook doesn't think you're important, then your posts stop showing up in front of people. So my philosophy is 4 posts a week, something that makes someone smile when they see it. That's the goal. And then you pepper in your personal stuff, your individual images like Ted does. So yeah. And that's what you got to do in your office. Don't worry about finding your own content all the time. If you're going to do it yourself, just go out there and find things that make people smile. Could be a quote, could be, something funny, could be something beautiful that makes people smile. But don't get caught up in, hey, this is how you do an implant surgery. Let me show you the blood. People don't want to see that. So other dentists want to see that. So if you want to have a dentist training account, there's a lot of those out there where dentists follow it and dentists like to see that kind of stuff. That's different. That's not trying to get patients though.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's different.
That scares them off. I had one doctor who put videos up that was like teaching a restorative class in school.
Yeah.
And, it was a little scary. I don't think patients responded well.
They get blocked by the social media unless they see video anyway. You have to click on it because it's violent. It looks bloody. So yeah. You're not posting well if that's happening.
Yeah, that happened.
Well, I think nowadays they have like on Instagram, they have a lot of dental influencers who are posting before and afters. I follow a bunch who will do endos and surgeries.
Mm-hmm.
So like I think that it's a different set of people looking at it. It's probably other it's like Dr. Pimple Popper stuff, where it's like it catches a different type of audience, and not necessarily patients that you're trying to pull, but almost like a Hollywood thing, or like
Yeah. Now for Dr. Netzley, hey, Dr. Netzley, I do his posts. We do 4 posts a week, just like for Ted. And then he goes in when I say, hey, there's a really good post. I love this post. He goes in and he boosts it, and he pays, I don't know, Dr. Netzley, what, $10 a week or something like that. Yeah. So he'll pick one a week that he boosts. So we normally would get, I don't know, 30 views, right? Not likes, 30 views. He boosts that to people outside of his group that follow him, and now we'll get 300 views, and he'll spend $10 for a week on that ad. And when they like the post, I go in and I invite all those people then to follow the page in the future. Some do. So that's another way to do Facebook advertising, but you got to do that part on your end. I can't do that part. Yeah, and actually, Dr. North Carolina, I won't say his name because it's not on here, but he has me. He boosts all 4 of them every week, so he spends $40 a week on those posts. He gets a ton of traction, and again, he's looking for that. He's looking for growth. He wants more patients, so he's using it from a marketing standpoint.
Very good.
Paula, what about the Ipso video? What about that?
Yeah, I was so excited to get that. Most of you guys know Dr. Ted Johnson, and he has the Ipso Inclusion Program, International Partnership of the Study of Occlusion. That's what Ipso stands for. And he sent us a video. Do you want me to play a little bit of it, Eric? Or
Yeah.
Okay, so
I love occlusion. I love occlusion. It's sexy.
sexy, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. If you love graphs, you're going to love this next slide.
Exactly.
DM.
Exactly. Dr. Ken Peters is one of the guys who presents, one of the doctors, not the guys, but presents with Ted in the courses. So I wanted to just maybe show, this is 8 minutes. It gives a little overview of the course. And so let's take a look. I was thrilled to have this.
Everyday Dentistry is Ipso's Introduction to Occlusion course. What sets Ipso apart from all the other occlusion-based CE programs is that we're very hands-on in our teaching philosophy, with our motto being hands-on on your patients in your hometown. The 3-day Introduction to Occlusion seminar is designed for the development of effective occlusal skills, and we hope that by the end of the program, you'll feel that what you've learned will enable you to be more effective in your diagnosis of occlusion, TMD, and airway disorders in your own practice. The basis of this course is to help you, the restorative dentist, but also the periodontist, orthodontist, endodontist, pediatric dentist, prosthodontist, and the lab tech, handle the problems that you may see day to day when treating patients. I have patients say to me all the time, well, what's Ipso? I've never heard of you before. And I tell them that we're probably the oldest occlusion and TMD-based CE organization that you've never heard of. We don't advertise, we don't market, we're strictly word of mouth. We only hold courses when enough dentists come to us and ask us to hold a course for them. In one form or another, though, we've been around for about 50 years, starting with the teachings of Niels Gachet and his Science of Occlusion seminars, and in 2000 branching off into Ipso, but still with the philosophies of Niels Gachet. They're tried and true techniques that have stood the test of time. So let's briefly discuss the outline of the OED 3-day course. Starting off with a brief history of occlusion may sound a bit like a waste of time, but for those of you who have looked into occlusion at any level, you've come to learn that there's a lot of differing philosophies out there on how to manage an occlusion and what the occlusion should even look like. We find it's extremely valuable for our attendees to understand how occlusion got that way, and helps open your mind as to why different groups do things in different ways. Occlusion isn't just about how teeth fit together. It's about the interactions of teeth, the periodontium, the muscles, nerves, joints. So a review of the relevant anatomy and how it relates to occlusion is a good starting place. Physiology and biomechanics of occlusion helps you to go beyond the what and understand the why. Why do occlusal interferences impair?
Okay, so I emailed this out so you guys can see it. I'm not going to play the whole thing tonight, but if you get a chance, take a look. And we just really, really appreciate what Ipso has done over the years providing our CE. And Dr. Johnson is retired up in the mountains of Colorado, and he still does the courses. So he's been a great friend and wonderful person. Most of y'all know him. So anything else, Eric?
I think that's it for our agenda. We're going to be on the second Wednesday now.
Yeah.
We switched it up on you guys. So see if we get some new faces in here too. So we're hoping Wednesday night shifts that. And once we get to the holidays, I think New Year, I think it'll be a good turnout for the Mastermind. We've got 3 retreats coming up, 2 that are virtual on 2 separate Fridays. So if you're hiring new people and you want them to learn case acceptance, all the verbal skills, that's January and February, 2 different Fridays. And they can attend as a whole team or as individuals. And it's January 14th and February 4th. That's to learn case acceptance for your whole team. And then if you have a office manager type or a lead person and a doctor who want to attend our leadership Zoom camp, we're really lining up some good speakers, huh, Paula?
Yes, we are. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Eric, you've
Yeah.
been busy.
Yeah, we got some people talking about some awesome stuff. So whether it's basically the way I'm looking at it is how do we grow the practice in a healthy way? So it could be financial arrangement related. It could be expansion of services and how to get higher case acceptance and different things. So I got a CPA coming, ADA approved CPA, and Verity's going to be there. Stephen Johnson with Verity. It's a finance company that's doing some really amazing things. We're going to talk about iTero and Invisalign. Paul and I got some topics to cover. So yeah, very excited. I'm still waiting to hear from one more. I haven't heard back yet. So hopefully we can add one more to it and it should be really good. So very excited about that. And then in person, Dr. Netzley's coming. Yeah, in person in June in Tennessee.
Woohoo! That's right.
Yeah, going to be a good year, 2022.
I did a site inspection at the venue, so
That's right.
Two
That's
thumbs
right.
up.
yeah, it's a neat community.
I'm going to come early so I can go golfing. Is anybody else going to go golfing if I come early though? Or is that just me?
Well,
I'd have to practice a little bit more, Eric, but I might be there.
I'll drive the cart.
You're a golfer. Don't try. The next thing you know, we're playing for $20 a hole. I know you.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm a good ball finder. If you lose your ball, I go out and look for it. I can hit a few every once in a while, but I like to play night golf so you don't see how bad it really is.
Oh, look how far it's going. Is it going in the right direction? I don't know.
Oh gosh. Glow in the dark balls. We have glow in the dark balls if you play
So
night.
Ted, you're going to be there in June?
yeah,
You golf?
no,
Darn. Okay. All right.
Michael will play with you. Barry
Dave?
Watson
Yeah.
will play with you.
All right. Dave, what about you?
I have it on the calendar.
Okay. All right. And golf?
Absolutely not.
We need
I
Eric down
tried
there.
it. I tried it, but I can't figure out how high to throw the ball up before you swing the bat.
We can
Dr.
help you with
Bulsara,
that,
do you play? Do you play, Dr. Bulsara?
A little bit. I play.
Here we
some,
go.
yeah.
Here we go. Here we go. All right.
There we
That's
go.
all we need here. I just play a little bit too. I
I'm
hardly ever golf, but it would sure would be fun. Yeah.
But it's a beautiful view of the mountains, and you'll enjoy just riding around in the cart.
Dr. Netzley told me he was going to play, but he was going to have to play with a woman's golf ball. So.
A woman's golf ball? I need to find one of those.
All right. Awesome. It was really good to see you guys.
Okay, guys. Thanks
night,
a lot, everybody.
Good
All
night.
right.
We're all
All right.
right.
Good night.
All right. Take care.
Hey, Paula, hold on for a second. So, oh, you're still recording.